Hey everyone, David here with Logic and Fulfillment Team, and this video we're going to talk about campaigns. Campaigns are awesome and are definitely needed, especially when running an agency or any type of business. So what we're going to do is just real quickly learn how to create a campaign. We'll come over here, click Create Campaign, and I'm just going to say Demo, and we'll leave the folder alone. Demo, and here we have the campaign configuration, which is really important to understand how it works. So we have the option to select when this campaign can actually start. So we might say, I only want this campaign to start if it's on a Sunday between the hours of, let's say, 6 a.m. and 11 p.m. What this is actually saying is if someone adds them to this campaign, someone adds a contact to this campaign, the campaign, and it's like on a Thursday, it will add them to the campaign, but it actually won't start the campaign until Sunday. Like it won't actually start until Sunday, okay? Which means it'll start at 6 a.m. on Sunday, okay? Now the if can be applied if we're saying like, hey, I only want to add them to this campaign if it's on the weekend. So, and it's between the hours of, we'll just say 11:30. We'll just say 10:30 to 11 p.m. whatnot. And what's saying is, if someone gets added to this campaign, like maybe through another trigger or maybe through a zap, someone gets added to this campaign at 11:01, it's actually going to skip. So it's not going to get added to the campaign. And this is really important to use if you're going to add an extra, like a next step type campaign. So maybe something like this could happen where you add them into a campaign during a specific certain type of hour. And what happens is if it doesn't meet this hour, skip and move them to the next campaign, and it'll automatically skip and go over to the next campaign. Okay, so that's the custom window, which is actually more advanced. Most people actually leave the window off. That way when they get added to the campaign, they get added to the campaign. And then we can actually select this off. So that way there's no rules that are set for that. We have the option to add a lead value. We could even add a tag. So we can add the tag if we want called demo, and I can add this tag. I think I'll just use an existing tag that I have already. So let's just say say when they get added to this campaign, go ahead and add the lead value of 500, add tag, and then here we have the option to say allow multiple. What this means is someone can get into the campaign more than once. If we turn this off, then only can go through it one time. So if someone gets added to this campaign, they cannot be re-added to this campaign through a trigger or manually. They're just not going to be accepted. Okay. Then of course we have the stop on response. Stop on response will basically say someone replies to the campaign, whether it's they call the number, or they send an email, or they send a text message, it'll automatically stop the campaign and remove them from the campaign. Most people, depending on how you're using the campaign, if you're using like an appointment reminder, probably better to leave the stop on response off. Okay? And then allow multiples is usually always left on. But depending on what you're doing with your campaign, you can have this on. Okay? If you want people to reply and get removed, have this on. And of course, you can have event start dates where you can set the date out in advance of when this campaign should start. So if someone gets added to the campaign today, this campaign start date can start on Monday. Okay? All right. And then, of course, make sure when you have those configurations set, however you want it, you can now go in and start adding your events. So you have your events here. We can add an SMS. And what's great about this, we can come in and select the name, which is usually the first name. We say, hi, first name. How are you? Whatever we want to say in the message template, we can do, right? And then we have the ability inside to add trigger links, which we'll talk about in another video, the amazing power of trigger links. But we can put in a trigger link to where someone clicks on that link, it will pretty much track what page they visited. And of course, we can create triggers based on them clicking the trigger link, which is awesome. But we're not going to get into that right now. but we can put in our message, and inside each step, we have a condition we can set. Similar to what we have for the campaign, we also have that same condition set for the messaging. So we could say, hey, only send this message exactly, you know, if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, exactly on one of these days. So maybe we say I only want to send it exactly at 9 a.m. on Monday. It'll send it exactly 9 a.m. Monday. Okay. If we want to send it only during a time frame, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, between the hours of 8 and 5 p.m. And what happens is if this message happens to fall on a Saturday, it won't send it. It will wait, and it'll send it at Monday at 8 a.m. If we choose the if option, and this message happens to come in like on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday or a Thursday, then it will skip the message entirely and move on to the next step. Once again, more advanced. Most people leave that off when you're getting started, but you can definitely play with those. Add event. Let's say we want to add an email on this one. Same thing. We can put in our email content. We have the ability to add all these different custom values. So we can say the user contact is the user email. We could say the user Twilio phone. We could even put the user calendar link. We can do whatever we want. The email can say whatever we want it to say. Put in the subject, and just like we said, we can have custom times of when that begins. Other than that, there's your email. It's set. Awesome. Now, we can create as many events as we want. We can create a voicemail drop. We can create a manual SMS, which I will talk about in another video along with the manual call. These are part of the manual actions, which I will get into later. Okay, we can add a webhook. Again, we'll talk about this later as well, but this is if we're going to use something like Zapier, and we'll grab that webhook, and we can actually put that webhook in there and fire off a certain action based on the event inside of the campaign. We have the ability to send through Facebook Messenger if someone has opted in on Facebook. This is not really useful unless you are using a lot of interaction on Facebook and people are opting in and giving their consent to message on Facebook. But most of the time, due to Facebook policy, this is a big struggle for most people. We can have an auto caller, which is awesome, amazing. You can have a call whisper. What this is actually doing is we can actually say contact name, call. So we're basically telling the team member or the staff member, call contact name and convert to appointment or whatever. And what's going to happen now is we can again select a custom time. It could happen during a window time. We can leave disable voicemail detect, which basically tells us that the call will patch instantly. We will not listen to see if the voicemail picked up. We probably want to leave this off. That's pretty much standard. So now if someone goes through this campaign and once they get through the call step, what's going to happen is it's going to call the user, okay, and which, by the way, I forgot to mention, we could assign users here. So we can actually assign multiple users. So it round robins, which is probably meant for another video at another time, meaning that if someone gets added to this campaign, it assigns to a user. Someone else gets added to the campaign, it assigns to the next user. Next, another campaign, and it just goes round robin style. But a lot of times, most people use it for assigning to a specific user. And let's say someone calls, when it gets to the call step, the call is gonna actually call this user and say, hey, call contact name and book them for an appointment, or whatever you want that call whisper to say. Okay, and that's the call step. And I think that's pretty much it. We could add task as well. So maybe at the end of the campaign, we didn't get a hold of them, we could say follow up or add to future follow up or whatever you want to do, which might not even be needed because the beauty of the next campaign can automatically move them to the next campaign, which could be another nurturing follow-up sequence. But some people might want to have that task to have it there, so you have the ability to do that. Now that you have this, you can actually set when these events are going to go out. So we could say this can fire immediately if we want. Oh, important note, If you select this as immediately, this, regardless of the custom window time, this message will fire immediately. So you might want to actually probably practice having it always set at after 0 minutes, okay? Just in case if you want to play with custom window times. So after 0 minutes, and then maybe we say we want the email to happen after 1 hour. Maybe we might want the webhook to fire after 1 day. Maybe we want the call step to fire an hour later from that 1 day. So keep in mind that it's going in order. So 0 minutes, then 60 minutes it'll call, then the next day it will fire the webhook, and then the next hour on the same day here it'll fire the webhook, and then over here we could maybe say the next 3 days or whatever. You can have whatever sequence you want. You have the flexibility to make it whatever you want. And that's pretty much how creating a campaign works, and that's how the campaign works, and that's how you will utilize it, and you can get creative and create amazing things. There's a lot of different snapshots you can use that already have great campaigns, lead nurtures built in. And then, of course, there's always the appointment reminders, which is what I'm going to go into right now. I think that is really, really important. I'll just go ahead and save this. We can, and be sure to publish it if you're going to make it go live. And you can also copy the campaign as well. So if you wanted to have like a replica of the campaign and play with it and edit it, you can copy it, and then you can do different things, okay? And when you copy it, just make sure you're selecting the location you're copying it to, and what will happen is it'll save it at that location. All right, so one last thing I'm going to go to, and this is actually a longer video. It's mainly because there's just a lot to cover inside of campaigns that I think is really, really important that everybody should know. So let's get into appointment reminders real quick. The way appointment reminders work, same idea, same settings all apply, but now you have the ability to set befores. So what's really cool is you can have a message fire out when an appointment gets booked. You add them to a campaign, and this campaign is the appointment reminder. The appointment gets booked, and the appointment gets booked, sends out the confirmation email a minute later, and then what it's going to do is 2 days before the appointment, it automatically knows, because these campaigns are fired by triggers, and they only work like as far as appointment reminders and filling in the information. It only works smoothly if they come in from a trigger, which I will mention and I will show in this video because I think it's really important. But it knows based on the appointment day if it's going to send these messages or not. If I have an appointment at 7 p.m. and I booked the appointment 3 days ago, I would get all of these messages. Why? I'd get the 0 minute message, I get the 1 minute message, I get the 2 day prior message, I would get the 2 day prior email text message, and I would get the 4 hour reminder message. However, if I booked an appointment today, and I booked it today at 6 p.m., I would only get this message and this message. I would not get this message, I would not get this message, and I would not get this message. Why? Because the time has already passed. But it's very important to know that these messages are super intelligent, and they will only fire according to the appointment time and the actual time frame that these will be going out. So one last thing to mention on the appointment reminders is these will only work properly if we do it through a trigger, which I know I'm always going to fall back into triggers because that's really what a lot of the action comes from. So we could say in calendar, someone books an appointment in the calendar, and always want to make it appointment status is confirmed, because by default the calendar is set as confirmed. So when the appointment is confirmed for that calendar, we can add to the campaign, which was the A campaign. And there it is. So now adding that to the campaign. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. That's the reminder. We want the reminder campaign. What are we doing? I think it was appointment reminders. E. Yep. So now by adding it to the campaign, based on the calendar and the appointment, the campaign knows what to do. Okay? Anyway, that's it for campaigns. There's more to go over in campaigns, but that's the gist of it. this should definitely give you a really good, clear understanding of how they work and how they can be used and how effective they are. Hope this video was helpful. Have a great day. God bless.